Welcome to 365 LOA. How to easily and effectively bring into alignment your thoughts, desires, beliefs, and actions, as well as create a positive parallel environment with those around you and the world as a whole. And now, broadcasting high atop the MacGuffin Towers in exciting Las Vegas, Dr. Richard Nongard and R.J. Banks. Well, hello, everybody. This is Rob Banks, along with Dr. Richard K. Nongard. And, dude, the world's gone crazy. What the heck is going on? Help. You're the doctor.
The world does seem to be suffering from, I think, societal anxiety right now. There's a ton of fear in the world. And so in this show, I think this is directly related, Rob, to the law of attraction. We can have either a fear-based mentality or we can have an outlook and a mentality that looks for what's right in a difficult world.
Well, it kind of is the same thing as when we talk about the law of attraction. It's like when you ask, what is it that you desire? And people focus on what they don't want.
Right. I don't want any more disease. I don't want any more financial disaster. I don't want any more unemployment. But people really don't know sometimes what they want. What would it? I ask the miracle question in therapy a lot. The miracle question is really a great question, and it kind of goes like this. If you were to go to sleep tonight and a miracle were to take place in the middle of the night, when you woke up in the morning, how would you know that the miracle had taken place? In other words, what change within you would be present when you woke up that you would notice? Is it a physical feeling? Is it a spiritual or metaphysical awareness? Is it something that would be present in material reality in your world? But this anxiety that people carry with them can be an ingrained pattern, or it can come about as a result of episodic experiences or changes in the world.
And that's kind of what I've noticed a lot of is like the episodic experiences that people have. But it gets down to where it's like you don't know what's real, what the truth is, and it stresses people out. And that's what I'm asking you today. What can people do to reel themselves back in, to kind of keep a perspective on reality and keep themselves in check so they don't get stressed out and go off the deep end, so to speak?
Sure. Well, there are sort of two categories of answers to that. Category number one would be the practical tips, the things that we can do that contribute to decreasing anxiety.
Okay.
And we should be engaged in these practical tips if we don't want anxiety and we want a sense of security. By engaging in these practical tips, we can sort of arrest the experience of anxiety in the moment.
So these are in the moment tips. So it's like something happens where there's an exchange or
I think these can cut anxiety in the moment, and I think they can also, when they become part of our lifestyle or habit, contribute to a life with more security and less anxiety.
So it does have good long-term effects.
Sure. But these are practical things. These are the things that you would expect.
But those are kind of the things that you forget about.
Well, the first one on the list is get some fresh air. When you're anxious, there's often a sense of confinement, sitting in that room, sitting in that house, sitting in that office, sitting in that car in traffic, wherever the anxiety is taking place. And I went out to the park the other day. I have a new puppy, a new golden doodle. The golden doodle's 3.5 months old. And I went to the park with the golden doodles. The first time I've been to a park in months. It was just wonderful to be out there. There's actually research that shows that when we get out among the trees, the aromatherapy from the trees actually helps us to feel better. I know you moved here to Las Vegas from Seattle, so you're probably missing trees, but
we're here at my complex where I live.
Lots of trees.
I live in a wonderful community that's it's all gated, and there are trees everywhere, grass everywhere. It's like it doesn't feel like I'm living in the desert. And I take Cabo out for a walk 2 or 3 times a day, and it's so nice. And right now the cherry trees are blooming, and we've got probably a dozen or so on the property.
And the scent of nature decreases anxiety. You said you took your dog for a walk every day. Whether you have a dog or not, walking makes a huge difference. It is a physical activity. It decreases anxiety. It helps keep us fitter. When we're in better physical shape, we're more able to respond to emotional stressors. And so I always tell people to increase your daily activity each and every day. Take more steps today than yesterday, more steps tomorrow than today, and increase your steps each and every day until you hit 10,000 steps a day. The cool thing is we all have a smartphone now, so we can actually download a pedometer. We can actually count our steps. And I think that by increasing our physical activity, by simply walking every morning and every night, can be real helpful. The other thing is that...
But, I just wanted to say, before we move on, that if you can't find a place to walk, the malls, every mall in every city
has air conditioning,
are open in the morning.
Yep.
And it's usually the senior clubs that go in there and they walk. I mean, here where I live, they have a little bus that goes to the Meadows Mall here, I think 3 days a week to go walk in the morning.
Well, and walking, again, it does something physical for us, but it gives us a break from the stressors and anxieties that we're feeling, some time to be with ourselves and our thoughts. We can do a walking meditation. If we find our thoughts focused on the future or the regrets of the past, we can just focus on each step. The third thing on the tip list is eat a healthy meal. I've been on the go lately. I've been eating travel food, airport food, drive-through food, and so tonight I stopped to bring you some food because I knew you were busy working and didn't get a chance to eat a meal. I did not eat the same drive-through food because I ate a healthy meal earlier, and the reason why
I'm addicted to burgers
was to counteract the unhealthy meal. I had spinach for dinner. One of the other things I said,
just spinach for dinner.
I did have spinach, like Popeye.
Gross.
So the other thing I say is change the station. Pay attention to the music or the news or whatever's on in your background. People are surprised to get in my car and discover it's almost always set on the spa channel. And the reason why is that driving makes people anxious. A lot of times when people are anxious, they are actually experiencing boredom. They are allowing themselves to become anxious because out of boredom, their mind has gone wild. So look for opportunities to turn boredom into action. Boredom is telling you, hey, I have time to learn something new. I have time to read a new book. I have time to engage in friendships. I have time to do something either long-term or in the short-term.
There's no reason for anybody but to be bored. If you have a phone and an internet connection, there is, I sit here now with my lifestyle, being the retired gentleman that I am now. I have a lot of time on my hands. I take, I've been working on my master's at UPenn for forever now, but you can what was it you were talking about today, the you to me thing, you to me and the Corsica.
So many things you can learn online. You can get a degree in electrical engineering.
They're like $10. You can learn about this and learn about that. That's so much better than sitting there playing video games and listening to crappy music that's just pickling your brain.
And I think boredom is actually synonymous with depression.
Yep.
So when people say they're bored, what they're really saying is they're depressed. And the way to overcome depression in many cases is to sink into some type of action. Now, the other thing is, what are you drinking? Are you drinking caffeinated beverages? Are you drinking alcoholic beverages? And up your water intake if you're experiencing anxiety. Drink non-caffeinated beverages. Drink a non-caffeinated tea. Drink non-alcoholic drinks. It's amazing how people think alcohol actually relieves anxiety, and chemically it might in the short term since it's a sedative hypnotic. But you can do self-hypnosis with a non-alcoholic drink and not have any of the physical downside, the sleeplessness that it causes.
And it's not a depressive.
That's right. The last thing on the tip list is to take a shower or a bath. I'm not going to take a bath with candles. I think the last time I was in a bathtub was probably when I was a kid. But when you're anxious and you have the sweat from the stress of the day on you, and your clothes are feeling like you've been wearing them for hours, just jump in the shower, freshen up. And it's amazing how clean hair and a clean shirt and clean underwear can help you feel fantastic.
Now, what about like the hot tub or something like that?
Hot tub, yeah.
I love the hot tub.
And if you don't own a hot tub, the local gym has a hot tub. So for $15 a month. Yep. But these are all tips. And I think a lot of these are tips that people already know. But when we fall into the mind trap of focusing on our fear or anxiety, then it's time to engage in some techniques that can actually break that cycle. Now, in our first episode of the 365 LOA podcast, we talked about the 3-2-1 reset. So the 3-2-1 reset is a 1-minute meditation that can reset you both physically as well as spiritually and emotionally as well. So I want to encourage people who are listening to this series to go back to episode number 1 and to the show notes in episode number 1 and to learn that 3-2-1 reset. It's just taking 3 breaths, putting our 2 hands on our 2 shoulders, and essentially giving ourselves a self-hug, and then spending 1 minute, one minute in silence, just paying attention to the breath and being mindful. But one of the great ways to control anxiety is to use the creative power of the mind. So, Rob, let me guide you through this process, and those who are listening, they can sort of follow along also, because this is pretty good.
I love being best friends with a psychologist and hypnotherapist, because I get all this stuff for free. It's great because he calls me up and says, "Hey, I'm doing a video on this or on that, and I need a subject." And so he comes and gets me, and we start shooting video. So I get all kinds of free stuff. So anyway, what are you going to hypnotize
always, just for clarity, I'm not a psychologist. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. So,
well, close enough.
But a psychotherapist, right. So, Rob, imagine that you're anxious for a moment.
Okay.
And notice that anxiety, that fear.
Well, now, today you already told me that's what my issue
is. So go ahead and close your eyes down for a moment, Rob. And I want you to imagine a line drawn on the ground in front of you. It could be a painted line like a sideline at a soccer field or a baseball field, or it could be a line of string. It really doesn't matter what that line's made out of. It could even be a railing. But in your mind's eye, just create that mental imagery, and where you are standing, recognize that that's the present moment. Okay.
Which way does the line go? Across this way?
Well, it's actually your mind, but you may make a horizontal line, Rob. And you're looking out over that line, and on the other side of the line, that's the future. Now, notice something, Rob. All the anxiety and all the fear that you have, it's on the other side of the line, because anxiety can actually only exist in the future. Right now, as long as you're breathing, you're actually okay. We feel anxiety because we're worried about something. That's in the future. It's on the other side of the line. So in your mind's eye, imagine stepping away from the line, taking a couple steps back, dissociating from that anxious state. In fact, you can even in your mind walk as far back from it as you need to, so that the anxiety and fear that you have becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. The events that you fear are events that we call it in psychology, something you're dissociated from. You're no longer present with the fear. You've stepped back from the fear. But recognize that anxiety can only live on the other side of the line. It's not in the present future. Place. Exactly. And so from the place that you are now, having stepped back from that line, just notice, taking a breath, breathe in and notice that by just doing that sense of anxiety is gone. Or at least the importance you've attached to the anxiety is gone.
Well, it's nice because it's like it's very easy to, I've already just sitting here with you for 2 minutes doing this. I'm not thinking about stressing over the things that we had been talking about for tomorrow and the weeks to come. I'm sitting here, I'm listening. It's raining outside. I can hear the rain. I got my guide dog here with me, and I'm very calm and relaxed now. So thank you, sir.
Sure. Well, but wait, there's more.
But wait.
To quote Ron Popeil. I think that was Ron Popeil. Who said that. But wait, there's more. Another great way to take control over anxiety, rather than letting anxiety have control over to you, is to just pay attention to your body, to scan your body from head to toe. In yoga, they might call this a body scan meditation, but pay attention to your head, your shoulders, your back, your chest. Pay attention to your buttocks and thighs, your calves, your shins, your toes, and anywhere you're carrying the tension of the day. Notice that part of the body. A lot of times we carry tension and anxiety, and we just don't notice it. We don't pay attention to it, and intentionally release that fear or that anxiety. Release those muscles, essentially. Just doing this can actually make a huge difference. But a great mental exercise is to imagine a comforting ball of light, a calm ball of light. And you can imagine that this small ball of light that represents calm can begin with the ankles, in an area near the ankles. And you can just imagine that ball of light, that calmness, that healing ball of light near the ankles. And imagine rolling those balls of light up your legs and up to your knees, and rolling that up through your thighs and up through your body. You can place that ball on your solar plexus, what in metaphysics we might refer to as one of the chakra points, or in personal training or fitness we might call the core or the center of our body.
Right.
And just imagine the radiating, healing white light of calm in that place. And imagine those balls that began on each side of the body have become one larger ball, rolling up to the shoulders and the neck and the head. And of course, you can simply massage yourself with the calming white light of this imaginary energy by, again, rolling it back down the shoulders. You can even make the ball a little bit bigger. Again, into the solar plexus, sitting up straight, taking a breath, and noticing what it feels like to truly create a state of calm. And there's real power in this, Rob. Calm is not something somebody else does to us. It's something that we can actually create from within, even if the world is a scary place, even if there's a lot going on in the world. And we can allow that healing white light, that ball of calmness, to again move through the thighs, the knees, the shins, and back to the feet. You can even imagine that the whole body then becomes a ball of white light, of calming energy, of peace and tranquility, something you can feel from head to toe, from arm to arm, to leg. And Rob, just taking a breath. When you take in that breath, notice what it feels like to breathe in the air around you and to fill your lungs up with energy, and to exhale that air. Taking another breath, energizing yourself with a calm energy and a confident energy and a healing energy. And when you're ready, Rob, just open your eyes, feeling fantastic and ready for the relaxation that you've created and the calmness that you've created through the rest of the night. You know, these exercises are sort of a form of hypnosis or meditation, but what they really do is they're, again, simple tools to help us gain control over our experience. So many people let anxiety be something that happens to them rather than creating within them the resource states that would be most valuable to them. And the law of attraction is all about my ability to create alignment. I don't want stress. I don't want fear. I don't want anxiety. I don't want that discomfort.
On that high vibrational plane. I can't get there if I'm focusing all that energy on all that frustrating.
Right. And a lot of people try to get rid of that frustration and that anxiety. But if I tell you, Rob, right now, don't think of a yellow Jeep. Whatever
I'm
going
to be thinking of a yellow Jeep.
So if I tell you to stop being anxious, it doesn't work.
No.
Because you focus on your anxiety.
Exactly.
But instead, how to actually create that calm. Now, here's the cool thing about a podcast is you have the ability to actually listen to this multiple times, to go over it multiple times.
I was just going to say, go back. I mean, you saw me. Well, he put me in trance here in 5 minutes. I was so out and relaxed. I was going to say, go back and listen to this again. And when he tells me to shut my eyes, follow along with it.
Unless you're driving a car while listening to the podcast. Please don't do that. But again, these are, some practical ways to create that alignment so that we're in control of our world rather than the world being in control of us. And that's really what the law of attraction is all about. It's about attracting into our life that which is
those desires.
Those desires that we have, those things that are most important to us. Yeah. And I can share abundance with others. I can create health and wellness. I can create opportunity even in a difficult or turbulent world, when I'm the creator of my own life rather than the victim of the world around me.
And with that's probably the best word of advice I've heard in a long time. Words of wisdom. And you say Master Oogway is the one. That was a Dr. Nongard quote that will go on forever.
Well, I'm really glad that everybody joined in with Rob and I tonight. We're looking forward to our next podcast at the same time, the same station, the same channel. You can visit our website at 365LOA.com. There are a ton of cool resources on that website for you. And Rob and I wish you a blessed day.
Bye-bye now.
You've been listening to 365 LOA with Dr. Richard Nongard and R.J. Banks. For additional information, including free downloads, or to send them an email, visit 365LOA.com. That's 365LOA.com. And thank you for listening.